Hi you guys. Today on Thursday we are doing page 225 and page 226, and on page 225 we're using our little green triangles to compose shapes. Now if you did something like maybe you threw away the shapes after because we haven't used them in a while and I didn't have you do them for a couple lessons, then you could always just make outlines on this grid and then color it in and just have them colored in. The first thing I want you to do with your little green triangles is I want you to see how it is a triangle. It's a triangle that has 1, 2, 3 sides. It has 1, 2, 3 corners. And if you look at it, it does not have, this little small triangle does not have any square corners, but all of the sides are the same length of this triangle. So that's the attributes. That's how I would describe this triangle. The first thing I'd like you to do is take 2 green triangles and I want you to put them together to make a shape. And a lot of you might want to put the corners together like that, and I actually am going to ask that you put the sides together. So you can't put the points or the corners together. I want you to put the sides together. I'm going to go ahead and put one right here in this spot, and I'm going to put one right here in this spot. So you can see the shape that I've created here. It has 1, 2, 3, 4 sides, and it has 1, 2, 3, 4 corners. You might be saying, Mrs. Lloyd, did you just make a rectangle? But if you check these corners, what you'll realize is that none of the corners are square. So it's actually not a rectangle. It's the name of a shape you don't need to know yet, but it's called a parallelogram. Now let me take 2 of my other green triangles and put them together like this, putting the sides together. And now, does it seem like I made a different shape? Let's count the sides. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh, let's count the corners. 1, 2, 3, 4. It has 4 corners, or it could be a rectangle if it had square corners. Well, that corner is not square, that corner is not square, that corner's not, and either's that. These don't have square corners. It's a parallelogram too. You might say they don't look the same, but watch what happens if I take this parallelogram and I turn it and scoot it up like that. I see it's actually the same exact shape. I had just turned it. And the reason why we can start understanding that it's the same shape even if it's turned is by really looking at the attributes of the shapes. How many corners? Does it have any square corners? How many sides? Okay, so we just made these fun parallelograms by putting 2 triangles together. Let's go ahead and see what we can do putting 3 of these together. So I am going to go ahead and I'm going to put one right here. I am going to put one right here, and these I want to share sides, so I'm going to use 3 triangles and I'm going to scoot one down just like this to build a new shape. Now let's count the sides. 1, 2, 3, 4 sides. Let's count the corners. 1, 2, 3, 4 corners. It doesn't look like a rectangle. Let's ask ourselves, what kind of corners does that have? That's not square. That's not square. It has no square corners, so it can't be a rectangle. This is a shape that we call a trapezoid. And what I always think of it as is, watch, if Mrs. Lloyd was looking like this, I think of it as like a triangle with the top cut off, and that's what I call a trapezoid. And you don't have to know the name of that shape yet either. You have to be able to just know that you can build these different shapes by moving them around and looking at the attributes. How many sides, how many corners, and are there any square corners? I can even turn this like that, and it looks fun and different, but it's still the same shape that I just turned because it has 1, 2, 3, 4 sides, 1, 2, 3, 4 corners. Do you know that this is so cool? I look and I see that this is a trapezoid here. If I build another trapezoid in this little spot here, I wonder what shape I'll have. I'm going to use all 6 of my triangles. And what I'm going to think of now, the sides are going to meet, but all of these corners are going to come together. So I'm going to slide this one in here, that one in there, and this one in here. Now using 6 of those little triangles, let's count and see if we can figure out what shape this is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is a 6-sided shape. Let's count the corners. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 corners. 6 sides and 6 corners is a hexagon. I don't know if you watched our food video that we made with toothpicks and marshmallows, but hex means 6, and this is a 6-sided shape. It's a hexagon, and we did that just by putting all of the points of the triangles together, which I told you not to do before, but look, the reason why that's okay to do is because all the sides are meeting also. So the sides are coming together when we put the points. And the interesting thing about this is I could also say, well, I went ahead and did that with 2 trapezoids. If I moved those 2 sides of the trapezoids together, the longer side, then I actually get a hexagon. And that's really fun to think about. Let's try to use 4 triangles. We have the 3 here. That is the trapezoid right there. Let's try to put this one at the top and see what new shape we get. 1, 2, 3, 3 sides, 1, 2, 3 corners. A 3-side, 3-corner shape is a triangle. So we made a triangle there with putting 3 of our shapes together. So that is something really fun that you guys can do with your little green shapes. On the back of the page, you're going to be using your shapes again. Let's look at it. And putting them together over this, matching them in order to see what new shapes you can get. Just have fun. Remember, putting 2 or more shapes together creates a composite shape. All right, you guys, that's it. Have fun with shapes. Bye.